The key success to biomedical sciences, unlike semiconductor, disk drive, or chemical, is that you really need human capital of the highest level, not just a basic degree. I used to make the comment, a basic degree, a bachelor science degree in biology can only be a test tube cleaner. Because without a PhD, you can't go very far in science. People don't understand, you get object to feel you is very arrogant. No, you have a bachelor science degree, you'll be a technician. Next. Now, between 2001 and 2008, I tried to recruit people from all over the world, try to increase the human capital. Next. But I started to train people only in 2001, 2002 by Chinese scholars. First, to build up science. Remember, Singapore has no tradition of science. When I was a Colombo Plan scholar, the PhD doesn't allow me to do beyond bachelor's degree. Come home. You've got to do national service. There was no PhD. In fact, my generation, there's no PhD. So these are the few scientists I recruited. I call them big fish called whales. Next. There are over 100 recruited since I left in 2006, 2007. They're already in Singapore. They are very senior people. They are at least 50 years old. I'm not looking for young people. I'm looking for leaders who run labs and provide leadership, and also like kids. Because the key next here, small fish, guppies. My aim is to train 1,000 PhDs. 1,000. This year is batch number 10, the last 100. Again, when I asked Minister Josh Yeo in July 2001 to give away the first scholarship, he looked at me, where you got the budget? I said, no, I just take from my operating budget a slash 10%, provide for scholarship. I provided $1 billion for scholarship. If you train a bachelor's degree to a PhD with full salary, $1 million per kid. It's not cheap. By the way, when I did this, the PhD complained that I will overtrain PhDs that were unemployed on the streets, maybe become politicians. Next. Now, the greatest fear was from finance. I was using budget illegally, which is nothing new to me. Secondly, I was still PhD scholar, so okay. And Josh, my ministers, can you try to get foreign students so that you don't accuse of stealing from PSC? Anyway, I told PSC, you have a right of first approach to the scholars. Anybody who apply, those you don't want, we take. In any case, I will bid you because I'll offer them all the way to PhD, full salary. She's from Ipoh. She did physics in Cornell, GPA 4.1. Remember, my cutoff is 3.8. PSC is 3.6, by the way. She is from Shanghai, chemical engineering, also Cornell, GPA 4.1. She was from Hong Kong. She did pharmacy in London. Every year, every subject A. And all A's above 80 marks. Below 80 marks is not considered A. Remember, anything below 80 is not A. Vijay from India, father and mother are professors. Carnegie Mellon, bachelor's degree in computer science, master in computer science, economics minors in 3 years. By the way, all take 3 years. Anyone cannot do it in 3 years, cannot be good enough. GPA 3.97. 3 degrees, 2.5 degrees in 3 years. Vietnam, my father and mother are policemen in Da Nang, can't speak English. We sent to Illinois, chemical engineering, GPA 4.0. Cornell, a special beyond that. She's now a PhD MIT, chemical engineering, PhD in Stanford, computer science, PhD physics MIT, PhD chemical engineering in Stanford, PhD bioengineering in MIT, Stanford. Nothing less. Next. We have also smart Singaporeans. To be fair, people misunderstand. My rule of thumb is 70%, 30% Singaporeans. She's our best student, a Rockefeller. She's GPA 4.1 anyway, in undergrad. She's focused on virus. She will be the best virology expert when she comes home in 2012. These two couple are doing genetics. They did biochemistry in Stanford. They just got married last year. They will come back in also 2012, 2013. Remember, it took 9 years. He is now Duke Medical School. After that, followed by PhD. He's doing MD, PhD in Cambridge. Every year, every subject above 80 marks. 7 years in a row, nothing less. Computer science, PhD. These are all Singaporeans. Next. These are the last batch, last 208 batch. Select. Now remember, every batch is 100 students, 50 bachelors all the way to PhD, 50 PhDs. Actually, every year we give 160 scholarships, all different backgrounds. Those who want to stay in Singapore can do, but those who do the PhD in Singapore must go overseas for their postdoc. I don't want them to be just, all they know is Changi and Jurong. Next. Now, all this human capital, they only start coming home in 2011. Remember, I started in 2001, 2002. And why it's important? Because in this spring, which I helped to create in 2003, when I was still in EDB and A-Star, was that our economy is a pyramid. These are multinational companies. Multinational companies are elephants. The numbers are declining. Look at GM, 400,000 workers, now for 70,000 workers. The days of many elephants is declined. So we are trying to build an economy on what I call the trapezoid. We need to build an economy that's more stable and depending on this. In fact, there are very few companies. There are many more here. I call these mosquitoes. Anything below 1 million is really a mosquito company. My interest is here. Above 1 million to 100 or more. So Spring focus on this. I still have this, but I get IE to help them to export. If you couldn't export, unless you're selling char kway teow in Singapore, you won't survive. And you need new technology, and A-Star will provide. When A-Star provides technology, Spring pays 70% of the cost of the technology. When you go overseas, IE and Spring share 70% of promotion cost. EDB focus on the multinational, and we link them together. And then Spring provides loans. Last year, I provided a loan of $8 billion. My NPL is 2%. Not bad. Slightly below UOB. Okay, next. Now, Spring's aim is that we are trying to move towards innovation. Innovation means people. Innovation is not abstract. Innovation is not a building, not a machine. And the key is getting the kids as early as possible. Getting the idea of innovation, doing something. Innovation doesn't mean invention. If I take this, I can get a better device, improve on it, still innovate. Things as economic value. So we have to do this, and we now fund startup capital. Startups used to be under EDB, I took it over. It's all under. So EDB focus on giants, elephants. Spring focus on guppies. And I explained to Minister Tharman, I focus on rabbits, up to tiger, the lion, elephants I don't want. Because there are only so few elephants left. So the key to all this is really ideas, really on people. Next. So in 2008, I launched a Spring Scholarship, basically to train future bosses. Many of the SME bosses are people who came built from scratch. They are not wrong. It's an earlier generation. We are trying to train new generation. This young lady is a bachelor degree in chemical engineering and also a double degree in business administration funded by Spring. Now, their obligation for 4 years funding, if they're willing to go overseas 1 year, I still fund them to work for Spring for 2 years. First year in Spring to understand how to do. Second year attached to a company. Third year, they are free. The idea is to flood the Singapore SME community with 1,000 Spring scholars who really will not belong to Spring, but they'll be exposed to Spring. So that in the future, I can have potential future 1,000 bosses, what I call bossini,